We offer customized, flexible nutritional counseling designed specifically for you. We work with diverse clientele of all different ages, different needs, and goals. Whether you are looking for fat loss, muscle gain, body composition shifts, improved health, performance, and endurance, we're here to help.
All right, serious and silliness bodybuilding. I have my friend Russ Foster, who is 46 years old and going to be doing his first NPC bodybuilding show. What's up, Russ?
Yep, how's it going?
Good, good. Do you know what show you're doing yet?
No. And the only reason I say no, and I know it's kind of a cop-out answer, is my coach, Sam Canuto, based out in Dallas. He's saying, we're going to grow to the show, but don't grow to a particular show because there's so many shows happening at once. You don't have to dedicate and say, yes, I'm only doing the one in Galveston, or I'm only doing one in Houston. Mm-hmm. It may be one in Florida, Georgia. I might go back to Texas. We'll see. But I mean, there's plenty of shows, and especially that, I'm going to be competing as a super heavyweight.
You're obviously a big dude.
Too deep, so
say that again.
Not worried about the field being, too deep. At most, I've only seen at the NPC level maybe 3 to 4 competitors
tops, and that's at a good NPC show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know how good the shows get in. Are you going to compete in Florida? Because I know you live in Florida.
I'd like to compete in Florida. Just the proximity, and it just has to be somewhat of an ass pain. If you're traveling, keeping all your meals, that regiment going.
Yeah.
Rather than just flying and having to pick up meals while I'm there.
Yeah, right.
I'd rather stay in Florida, but anything can be done with proper planning, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you do well in a show, I don't know how competitive the shows in Florida are, but if you do well, which you'll probably win, because you're right, there's not too many super heavyweights.
Yeah.
But you never know, right? You never know. Right. Then I would suggest coming to New York and doing one of Steve Weinberger's shows.
I'd love to do one of his shows.
Because if you win one of his shows, then you're ready for the nationals. If you do the Mets or the Atlantic States, or I forgot the other one, the Eastern USA or something like that. Yeah, the Eastern USA. You win one of those, you are ready to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Just food for thought.
And that's a good point. Actually, I have to keep that in mind. It's for the first show. I don't care if you show up, doing classic physique, or you're doing super heavy. It's condition. And if the field's not that deep, I really feel sorry for the guys in men's physique class. There's 50 competitors.
It's ridiculous, but it's
3 to 4, you still have to show up condition.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing with the men's physique and then the women's the bikini, obviously, it's just at that level, everybody thinks they could do it.
Right. Yeah.
So you're going to get 50 girls doing bikini and 50 guys doing men's physique, and they weed out the ones who are quality real fast. Real quick.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So you look like a damn big dude, that's for sure. How tall are you?
6'2".
Oh, okay. And how much do you weigh?
Weighed in last night at 302.
Wow, 302 pounds. Yeah. And this is your first contest.
Yep.
How long did it take you to get that big?
So I've only been doing this seriously for 3.5 to 4 years.
Wow. Okay. How much did you weigh before that?
Oh, early? Okay.
Yeah. How much did you weigh before that?
Before that, maybe 250 my max.
Wow.
The reason for that is prior military, retired Air Force. So you still have to maintain your physical fitness standards.
That's right.
Do that, whatever prospective branch. So if you're hauling around, 250 pounds and you have to run, a mile and a half in 12 minutes, for me, that's just like asking for the moon. So anything above that weight wise, it's just like you're risking failure.
Right.
I'm a retired officer, and failing as an officer, in front of your troops or whatever, that's not a good thing.
Right. So
250 is kind of where I capped off. Once I retired, really started eating. Okay, now I can do kind of what I want. The goal is we'll take another 3 or 4 months, get up to 330 plus.
Wow.
And then start the shred. So I started this. I mean, I came in the Air Force at 135.
Whoa.
Yeah.
135 pounds.
I had to get a waiver to come in because I was underweight.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 21. Yeah.
Wow. So you basically you're just a big dude and your body wants to grow. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, I always had the problem with putting size on.
Really?
I always had good symmetry. I would always come in hard. I did 4 shows. I would always come in shredded.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it was always the size. I would always get outsized. And I knew that if I went into a national level show, I'd get my ass handed to me because I was a light heavyweight. And even if I'm only 5'8", so even if I bumped up to heavyweight, now I'm gonna get destroyed. Those guys are no joke. They're no joke. Yeah.
I need to be brought down to reality. I go to a bodybuilding show and I'm like, all right, I'm 290 or whatever, and then I stand next to somebody that's like 5'9", 245, and I'm like, holy shit balls.
Yeah.
I'm nothing. Oh my god.
Yeah, but that we've seen in the last year or so, we've seen very tall bodybuilders do very well. Samson Dowda, Andrew Jacked, and if you can fill out that frame, it does make a big difference because you take up a lot of room on the stage, and obviously everybody's going to want to, if you have the legs to match your upper body, then that is not going to be a problem. But we don't know what your wheels look like.
Yeah. Well, it's everybody has a sticking point. My quads, it's not for lack of effort. I definitely have a better hamstring drop. But quads that's where I got to put in the extra effort, and it's it's a love-hate relationship. And that's just good coaching, tenacity, just getting all those calories in. Because if you're under eating, there's no point.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So let's go through your diet because you put on a lot of weight in the last 3 to 4 years. How many calories you taking in a day?
All right. So at the peak, it was about 9,000. Generally it's between 8 and 9.
Wow.
It's truly,
Yeah, I hear you.
I just want to kill myself.
But you work full time. You are a systems engineer.
Correct. Yep.
And you have to go. Do you work from home or you go out?
So this is pretty fortuitous. When I was with the Air Force, obviously that's Monday through Friday. You go into work. And with the clearances that I have to work in a secured facility, aka you can't go remote. So since retiring and getting picked up with Northrop Grumman, I had to live out in Utah for a little while, which absolutely sucked. Nevertheless, now we're down here in Florida. But with the new position, I only have to go on site maybe 2 days a week, which makes things a lot easier.
I was going to say that's a lot better. Yeah.
So instead of hauling a fucking backpack just for a computer, and then the other one full of food,
right,
just walk to work to my office. But
that's good. Okay,
it's a ton of food. And my secret is not only my spectacular, come on over here, you may have heard of her.
I think we've I know you. Okay, I thought I knew you.
I would have some oranges.
So she does all the cooking for you?
She does. I'm really blessed, and I don't like to use that term just and throw it around, but the fact that she knows how to meal prep for me, is on time every time.
Do you know how much of a help that is?
Oh my God, it's night and day. I couldn't have done any of this without her.
Could you imagine, like, you guys are around my age? Could you imagine trying to find a girl like that's 20 something that not only is okay with cooking for her boyfriend or husband, but you have to prepare 9,000 calories a day? It's impossible. Forget it.
Yeah.
Don't even bother. Forget it. Yep. Those girls don't even know their way around the kitchen. It's impossible.
So luckily, the great thing about her is the planning capability of it, because it's like you're basically at the mercy of what you have in the fridge prepared and ready to go. And that's only just through pertinent planning. A lot of Costco trips, a lot of chicken being cooked, a lot of chicken being blended into my famous
chicken shake.
Chicken shake.
He even has a song.
That's how I do it.
He has a chicken shake song.
All right. So for people that don't know, 9,000 calories a day
is fucking impossible.
How much do you spend a month on food, on your food alone?
Oh, Jesus. What, like 500? Maybe?
What? No, it's got to be more than that.
What, a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, a month.
No, it's like 200
a shot.
A shot, yeah. I'd say close to 1,000.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
$1,000,
1,500.
Yeah,
just on your food.
Yeah.
I
think of the preponderance of that. So I would say probably 8 to 1,000.
800 to 1,000.
Yeah. I'd say probably pretty good.
I thought it was going to be,
you know,
I thought it was going to be more than that, to be honest with you. But that's still a big chunk of change on food, right?
Yeah.
So it's $800 to $1,000, and then tell me what your first meal is like, so people get an understanding of how much 9,000 calories is.
Every shake that I drink, and I do this primarily. I'm a super slow eater. So even during basic training, both for enlisted and officer training, I was always the last one to eat. I was always hungry. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in blending your food. That's
It's easier that way. Yeah,
it's easier.
Yeah.
I mean, bypassing mastication is not that big a deal. People are like, well, you're missing a lot of, whatever. I'm like, no, I'm perfectly fine with it. So generally it's like half carton of egg whites, about 6 ounces of chicken, peanut butter, 2 scoops of rice. Yeah, it's
and then powdered veggies to kind of get
your
veggies in.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you put that all into a blender.
Yep.
Yeah, Vitamix is one of the best things I ever bought. I mean, it liquefies the shit out of everything. So
good. And then that's your first meal in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so do you do it with the old school blender, like the glass blender, just drink it from there, or
no. I'm not that much of a curmudgeon. No, it's we actually have like 500 of these little dedicated cups just for me.
Yeah.
So,
and all your meals like that, or do you eat any solid food?
No, yeah. It's just in the morning. It just takes me forever to eat.
Right.
That's it. Second meal.
Is a shake.
Yeah, sometimes it's a shake depending on my meeting schedule or whatever. But yeah, it's like after that, the majority everything is eaten, like physically eaten.
Okay, so give us your second meal
then. Second meal, I mean, it's something simple. Generally, it's like like ground beef, sweet potatoes, rice, something to that effect.
How much ground beef?
Generally it's like
8 ounces.
8 to 10 ounces.
8 ounces.
That's a lot.
You're just like, oh damn.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Ground
beef too, because ground beef is relatively fatty. I mean, you can get the whatever 90%.
Yeah, and generally we do, and I mean we strain it, but I mean in the off season we're like, we don't need to go to whatever quote magic food people have out there, but we're okay at this point. It's like the name of the game is calories, and the name of the game really is getting in all those calories consistently.
Right.
It's great if you can do it a day or two, but if you drop off on 3 or 4,
it doesn't make it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
That's the hardest part about bodybuilding.
It really is. People think regular people think, oh, I could eat all day. You want to eat meat, no problem. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no.
You have no idea. The food is up to here, and you're not digested yet, and you got to eat the next meal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I tell people in the gym, I'm like, the hardest part about bodybuilding is the diet. The gym is the reward. That's the fun part.
Yeah, it is.
It is. But that's only like 2 hours. Go home, try to sleep for 8. That remaining 14 hours of the day, or ish. That's you're eating. That's the job.
That's it. Yeah, Dave Palumbo used to do a lot of shakes too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of any of his shakes. He would do 12 whole eggs.
Yeah.
You've heard of his shakes?
Oh, yeah.
It was I think it was 12 whole eggs. Back then it was a metrics. Remember back in the 90s, he had a packet of metrics, oats, like apple juice, and then he would stand over the sink and he would drink it all the way down, and it was the old school blender, so it was like all the way up to the top.
Right, yeah.
And then he said that if he would stand over the sink, drink it, and then he would have to wait for like 5-10 minutes because he would hopefully not throw it up.
Yeah.
And then there were times he would throw it up and then he would fucking do it all over again.
So funny side note about that, since I caught COVID right in December of 2020.
Okay.
And I went through the the 2-week period in which I lost all taste and smell.
Oh
yeah. Since then, it's only come back to what I would estimate like 70%. It's not all the way back. Everything tastes just a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, what I would used to have somewhat of a gag reflex to, like drinking chicken, you really have to be dedicated, I feel, to do that.
Yeah, that's fucking disgusting.
Now, it's not a problem.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's like, okay, sure, let's make it happen.
You get used to you get used to it, but it's a process, man. It is. Yeah. And what's funny is, you ask any retired professional bodybuilder, the one thing they don't miss about bodybuilding is the food. That's the one thing everybody. I mean, I saw an interview with Jay Cutler, and he would eat 5 pounds of fish a day before the Olympia. I mean, it was just unreal. And people think, people attribute it to, I could look like that if I took steroids. No, you can't.
No,
you can't.
That relying just on steroids is like throwing an F1 engine into a Honda Civic.
Right. Yeah.
You're just going to destroy it.
Yeah.
Quickly, unless you give it the materials to modify to be able to handle that.
Right. The best analogy I ever heard in my life about steroids was from a female bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, steroids are supposed to be like makeup, just a little bit to highlight what you want. That's it. You don't want to go over, you don't want to overdo it. And I was like, well, that's a pretty good analogy. All right.
Yeah.
But so tell us about your workouts in the gym. Say again.
More is just more. That's all it is.
Yeah, it gets to a certain point. A lot of people don't realize that. It gets to a certain point where you're not absorbing. You get to a kind of, when you go over the sweet spot, you're doing more damage than anything else.
And the sad thing is, like the gym that I go to out here and down in Florida, it's overrun. It's pretty close to like 2 college campuses. So you see, I mean, a lot of young kids coming in there, and I'm like, you can't do this sport on the cheap. If you're going to juice, you can't do it cheap. Cannot.
Yeah.
No way. You might as well put the best poison available into your body.
We were having this discussion. I have a show on muscular development, and there's so much information readily available that you think the kids that would be interested in bodybuilding would access that information, but it actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who to listen to or who to talk to, and they're listening to these guys. I mean, there's so much access today that we didn't have when we were kids. First of all, you could buy a test kit to make sure that your stuff is legit, and it's not cheap. I mean, it's not expensive at all. It's very cheap.
Yeah.
You can buy a test kit to see if your GH is real. Again, and it's not expensive. It's relatively cheap. You can go to websites where people have been doing it for decades, like a Dave Palumbo or a Muscular Development Ron Harris, or the Fuad Abiad's Hostel channel, or whomever, and listen to people that have been around for a long time and know what they're doing and know the dosages and so on and so forth. But yet they actually listen to a 21-year-old kid because he's got abs or something like that, and
or they just go to the forums and go, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's really it was really the last episode we did on muscular development. We actually talked about social media fitness influencers, and there was a kid on TikTok who actually said that if you eat dog food, you're gonna get gains because so much.
I saw that. Yeah.
Because because of so much protein, and then he tried to eat the dog food on TikTok. I mean. And he got like 20 million views or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. It's just unbelievable. But so let's talk about your workouts. What kind of training do you do in the gym? Is it a push-pull or you do a split?
No, I do a split. Always working on the weaker body parts. So I'm hitting legs twice a week. The coach is like, you're pretty good upper body wise, but you can always do more. Okay, fine. But predominantly it's if I could have the calories for it, I would do legs 3 days a week. I just can't recover that quickly. That's the thing.
No, and I mean, most people, right? Yeah,
pretty standard workouts. I mean, it's just Hunter Labrada, his workout routine is kind of like you do basically two top sets, 10 to 12, and then you do 3 back off sets, 12 to 15. And I was like, that works out just fabulously for me. So I've implemented that. Not too crazy with long rest periods, whatever, but I'm not doing HIIT training either, so maybe like 2 minutes or whatever.
Okay, I have a feeling you have a massive back and very strong bent over rows and deadlifts. If I'm I figure that
I'm pretty good with the upper body development. Now we just need to get the wheels to match the upper, and that's fine. And like I said, everyone's gifted with certain body parts, and I'm like, that's awesome. We're here to improve on the weaknesses.
Yeah, all in due time. What does he have you doing different types of squats, or is it a regular standard squat?
Right now it's like, let's take he has my squats at the end. He's like, that way, like he tells me, he's like, bodybuilding shows aren't won by people that can squat 500 pounds.
That's right.
He's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's do, like banded hacks, narrow leg press, Bulgarian splits and all that. He's like, let's, after everything's torn to shreds and, we do 5 million sets of everything, let's put squats at the end. And then he has me doing, Smith machine squats, excuse me. That way he's like, you can really take your back out of it, really focus on where you want that quad, the feeling of the quad to come in.
Yeah, the stress on the quad. Yeah,
is key.
Yeah.
I wish we had the pendulum squat at my gym, but you do what you can.
Yeah, it sounds like your coach really knows what he's doing, because those are the things that I've learned too. That if you work on your quads, Smith machine, box squats with them, Smith machine, and so on and so forth. Yeah. I always had a pretty good squat, and it's because my legs were always short. I had a longer torso, if you will, but I always had short legs, so my squats were always relatively good.
That's awesome.
But like I said, I just could never be. I always had trouble putting weight on.
Yeah.
So let me know what your deadlift is like. What's your what kind of weight are you pulling?
Generally, well, for reps, my deadlifts are probably I typically don't go more than like 5 to 550.
Really?
If I'm going to do sets of like 6 to 8. But I found out, for deadlifts, kind of like with rack pulls, I'll do it at the very end. That way I don't have to load the whole damn bar up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I said, my philosophy is it doesn't matter how much you lift. It only matters how much you look like you can lift.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It is the muscle development.
Exactly.
And what a lot of people don't understand is the stress that has to go into that development is a lot of reps and time with heavy weight, but not the heaviest weight.
Not the heaviest weight.
Right.
Just heavy enough.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
More is just more.
Yeah. So what is your strongest body part?
I would say I'll tell you my weakest is probably my chest.
No, I mean, you're not as far as physical strength, but you're the best body part as far as bodybuilding.
My best, I would say, actually, let me ask, what do you think? Back, shoulders, or chest for my best?
Oh, are your best?
Yeah, we'll go to the one that really matters.
Well, your chest and shoulders.
Okay.
That's the first thing
chest and shoulders.
I noticed.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And she's the funny thing is she was never a chest girl.
No.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
Yeah. So I guess I converted her. But anyway.
Yeah.
Really did.
So,
at least you have good opinions. My wife just goes, "Oh, everything is fine. You look great." My wife.
Oh,
He's
wow.
a bit of a chest guy too.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. So I think she has me beat in development.
I have
But
to try to match.
I'm trying to.
Don't squeeze him. You're gonna make me sick. we all like to believe that Luna's single. We all like to believe.
Okay, sorry about that. Who the hell are you? Get out of my house.
Wrong house.
Yeah,
Sorry.
wrong house. Yeah.
So I know you don't know what show you're doing, but what time period are you looking to do?
We're looking at early next year. The reason for that, we have some trips coming up here in the summertime and early in fall, which really don't lend itself well for cutting a cutting type diet. Yeah, the hard part is it's like when we come back from whatever vacation we're doing in early fall, it's just enough of a time period where we could start a cut prior to Thanksgiving, but then it's like, who the hell wants to cut over Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Right.
But,
yeah.
The calendar starting, good shows starting at least in Texas that I'm looking at. It's kind of like a potential alternate, January, February shows. That may be the only option, but we're still I'm looking at basically like first quarter of 24.
You know what's great? The fact that you are either competing in Texas and you live in Florida. What's good about dieting during those months is that it's still very hot.
I love my Texas.
It's still very sunny. Always, if you did a show out, well, there are no shows in New York in January, February, but if you did a show in November and it starts getting dark at 5 o'clock and it starts getting cold, it is very depressing. And then you can't have any comfort food or anything like that. That is like, you're better off doing it by you with a lot of sunshine, man. Seriously.
Yeah. It's nice. This isn't my favorite weather, but yeah, I totally hear you on that.
All right, so you are at 9,000 calories. You want to get to 330. How much more calories do you think you got to take in before you get there?
I think we're fine calorie wise. It's just it's just putting in the work now.
Okay.
So we've done a couple, almost like in periodicity, if you will, of so you bulk, plateau, bulk, plateau.
Right,
bulk.
right.
We've never gone to like a full plateau and stay there and just maintain. We let the body get used to it for a couple of weeks, which is fine. So since starting with him, starting at roughly, I think about 275, 280, something like that. It's just every bulk, we get about 10 and stay there, 10, then stay there.
Right.
My previous bulk, we hit 313, and then we're like, let's back it off a little bit. This is the longest that I've just been maintaining weight. So I'm anticipating, give me about probably 4 months and we'll readdress it. So yeah, I'll be 325. I would almost guarantee it.
All right, very cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
What we're gonna do is we're definitely gonna have you back on. Well,
okay. Thank you.
I'm definitely gonna have you back on, and we're gonna. I think what a good idea would be was to track your progress.
Okay.
And every few months have you back on and see how you're doing until you compete.
Be fabulous.
Yeah, and I think that would be pretty good. I think that would be fun. It would be pretty good, and it would give everybody the actual experience, if you will, for lack of a better term, of what it takes. Because a lot of people don't know what it takes, and it is not easy.
It's definitely a mindset and a lifestyle. You have to.
There's no question.
You don't just wake up and go, what the hell? Let's do this.
No, it doesn't work that way.
It's day in and day out. It's a job.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you got 2 bedrooms in that house, because the last month before the contest, man.
The best thing is I have the greatest support team here living with me. So I mean that's night and day difference. That makes it all. Yeah.
It does when you have a wife that's supportive and helps and cheers you on and is your cheerleader and cooks your food and so on and so forth.
Yep.
That helps tremendously.
Pretty good show, too.
Yeah, it is. I was on that show. Unfortunately, I don't have any jugs. I don't have any jugs on that show, but Luna took care of the jugs.
And enough for about 4 people.
Yeah. All right, Russ, I'm going to let you go. I really appreciate you coming on, man. And we will definitely keep in touch. And let me see. We'll probably have you back. I would say it is now the end of March. April, May, June, July. Let's figure around the top of the summer, like July, August. We'll have you back to see how the progress is going.
Okay.
And then the closer you get to your show, the more we'll have you on.
Okay. That sounds
I think that's a pretty good idea.
Let's do that.
All right, Russ. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And good night, Luna.
Good night. Good night.
See you later. All right, guys. See you later.
Take care.